Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Jillian Leslie, and I'm also founder of software startup MiloTree. Before we dive into today's episode, I am so excited to share that our MiloTree Black Friday Sale is just around the corner, starting Friday, November 22nd, which is in 2 days. We're bringing back our lifetime deal, but just for a limited time. If you are a blogger, ready to start selling your knowledge, grow your email list and social media followers, and build a thriving business in 2025, this is the opportunity you've been waiting for. And here's the best part. Join the waitlist and you'll get access to the sale tomorrow, along with an exclusive early bird bonus worth $250. So to do this, to join the waitlist, go to milotree.com/earlybird, milotree.com/earlybird, and you will get an email from me tomorrow with all the details. Now, on to today's episode. I'm so excited to welcome back my friend, Jenny Melrose, to the Blogger Genius podcast. Jenny is a business strategist, and she's the host of the Influencer Entrepreneur podcast. She's been on my show a bunch of times, and I've been on hers, and she is an expert at helping online entrepreneurs stop trading time for money and build scalable, sustainable businesses. In this episode, we're diving into what business building in 2025 is going to look like. Jenny shares her insights on why bloggers and service providers need to shift their mindsets, the role of personal branding in a world increasingly dominated by AI, and how to stop chasing random page views and start building a business that's truly people-focused. Jenny breaks it all down in a way that's simple, actionable, and game-changing. So without further ado, here is my interview with Jenny Melrose. Jenny, welcome back to the Blogger Genius podcast.
Thank you, Jillian, so much for having me again. I am so excited.
Jenny, I don't know, I have to go back and look how many times you have been on my show and I've been on your show, but I feel like this goes back a while, and I love checking in with you every so often to say, Jenny, what are you seeing on your end? Because this is what I'm seeing. So Jenny, will you just explain kind of quickly who you are and who you serve and what you do?
Yes, of course. So my name is Jenny Melrose. I ran the lifestyle site, the Melrose Family, from 2010 to 2019. I sold it in 2019 for six figures. And at that time, 2019, the day before I closed on the site sale, I was hosting my first in-person conference called Influencer Entrepreneurs Academy. And I now host those virtually, as well as have a podcast called Influencer Entrepreneurs, which, Jillian, like you said, you have been on before, and we just recently did an updated episode. And then I also have a membership called Influencer Entrepreneur Insiders, where I'm really teaching female business owners how to stop trading time for money and start being able to give them differentiated business education that's going to help them actually grow their online business in the digital space.
It's so interesting because we were just talking about this right before I pressed record. I see a lot of these same people, coaches, chiropractors, whatever, where they feel like they are beholden to their clients and terrified that they're going to lose them or they need to get more. And I too talk a lot about, okay, how do you become an entrepreneur rather than a service provider?
Yes. Oh my goodness, so much so. And I think even the bloggers that I'm working with now are also seeing themselves in this light, because so often they were chasing page views, which really was time for money in the way that they were doing it, because they're getting all these followers on social media. And now we're seeing that doesn't equate to actual income with the way that the algorithms have reacted. So because of that, my clients are focused on deciding what they see themselves as an expert or as an educator of, and creating digital products and services that they can provide to that audience through their content that they are attracting them with, that solves a problem for them.
Now, here's a question. How then
Yeah.
do you recommend somebody get their content out there? If you're saying, well, social media might not be the best way, what is like the top of the funnel for you?
Yes. So the top is going to be where you initially putting out your content. So I recommend choosing three places. And we're going to still use keyword research. We still have to understand the problems that our people are searching for within Google to find an answer to their solution. So I always recommend, no matter if you're going to do video, a podcast, or a blog post, you have to start with your keyword research and then have one platform that you are consistently putting out the content on that you are then going to use as a blog post. So if you're starting with a podcast, because like myself, I only like audio, I'd rather not have to start with writing. I will take the audio, we transcribe it into an SEO'd blog post where they then can find the content and I can email my list with it. They can go through and read it, they can share it, and it can actually get found by Google. I'm still ranking for very specific terms, and it's how I'm attracting my clients. So if you start with a podcast, you're going to turn it into a blog post. If you start with YouTube, you are going to turn that YouTube video into an actual blog post. And then if you want to start with a blog post, you can start with just writing a blog post and having that content. My therapists, my service-based businesses that are coming to me, they're looking for website visibility. And in order to do that, you have to be creating keyword research content still, but with the intention of solving a very specific problem for an intended audience. It's not the keyword research of old of how many page views can I get? And let's write as many things as we possibly can that are all Italian dinners. Even my food bloggers that work with me are very specific in what they are creating content for so that they can be seen as that expert or educator in a specific niche of food. So if they create Italian recipes, they are an educator on how to use Italian seasonings and specific Italian tomatoes that are going to make their food taste that much better. And then they offer cooking classes and they offer all different products and services that then can fall into line with that.
I feel like what you say is so much aligned with what I say. What happens, I think, are these windows open and then they close in online business. And being it on online for as long as you and I have, we've seen this happen over and over again. And especially during the pandemic, especially say if you were a food blogger or who knows what, you found a way to go after low competition keywords, kind of game the system in a way. I know you're not really supposed to say that, but that's kind of what you were doing. You were writing content for Google, you wanted page views, you wanted ad revenue. And when I would be saying, guys, I have a feeling this window's going to close and you need to set yourself up for the long term. I don't think people heard me because it was like, well, I'm on this treadmill and I can't get off it. And I feel like what you are proposing, and it's very much aligned with what I'm proposing, is everybody's business might look different. Like maybe your ebook is like what takes off and it's my membership, or you're doing like in-person retreats.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of a sudden, like that becomes a bigger part of your business, where maybe that's not a part of my business, but it becomes, how do I take my knowledge and sell it to real people rather than I'm chasing all these random page views or quote unquote users. It's now much more about me being me and you saying, okay, I want to learn from her. Can you talk about this idea of expert versus educator? Because I know you started as an educator, and how I think that might help people see themselves differently.
Yes. So I use the words interchangeably, and my people know that. Anytime I introduce myself, whether I'm speaking in person or I'm doing a webinar, I always talk about the fact that I'm a former inner city school district teacher. And that gives me the confidence to be able to speak in front of people when I am naturally an introvert and hate public speaking. So I'm able to fall into that kind of thinking, okay, I'm used to dodging chairs from little kids. I can handle talking to a bunch of adults and teaching them the things that I have either done myself or helped other clients do. Because of course, I was a lifestyle blogger. I didn't write about home decor, but I can still help that home decor blogger. I wasn't a therapist, but I still understand the business strategies that are going to need to be put in place in order for them to stop trading their time for money in the therapy room. So I think it's really important when we are looking at this to be able to determine what direction we're trying to go. Who are we really trying to serve? Because I feel like that's the piece that a lot of people miss. They think, I'm going to throw out this wide net, and they go after that red ocean where everyone's going after that. Where in reality, you need this blue ocean where it's your person. So instead of doing keyword research with how many page views can I get from all these random people, instead, I'm doing keyword research based on that person and the problems that I'm trying to solve for them. So for me, female business owners that are small businesses that are looking to be able to increase their digital presence more than anything else. And that is what I'm looking for the solutions and the problems that I'm going to talk about that I can then provide them a solution for.
What's interesting and what I hear you saying is that while the internet is really big, now we're weirdly shrinking ourselves down to be people. And I think that this makes so much sense in this world of AI where everything is going to be or is available, all knowledge is available. What isn't available is me, that I get to say, work with you, Jenny, and that Jenny gets to be in a relationship with me. And that is something that ChatGPT can't do. And so therefore, it's like thinking about your person as a person instead of as a user, instead of as a page view, instead of as somebody who, like, almost as if, like, as bloggers, we were kind of on a mountaintop, like yelling, like kind of yelling down to the masses and hoping they showed up for us, but not because we cared about them. We cared about this weird metric that then translated into money. And what is interesting is when I have gotten on calls with a lot of online entrepreneurs, and I have said, especially those that were chasing page views, for example, like they knew they should be selling their knowledge, but there was like a disconnect. And when I said, hey, let's start thinking about your audience as actual people that you have a connection with, it changed their whole vibe. And they would many times say to me, oh my God, you've given me a new window into seeing my business, making it kind of like, that's probably why they started in the first place, because they wanted to help people. Then they got kind of removed from that. And now I'm saying, go back to that. Now, for you with, like, let's say your therapist, they're almost too kind of specific people, like clients, and therefore they want to go broader to sell to more people, to have a membership, or, still, let's say, go from in-person coaching to online coaching, just ways to scale their businesses. However, it is still, or even more so, person specific, not information specific.
Yes. And I'm going to say something very controversial and probably get some people upset with me, but
Please.
the bloggers that were chasing page views are AI. They're what they're so upset about. That's why they're being replaced. They're being replaced because they were like AI. They would just ask a question and they would spit it out for whoever wanted the answer for. And they were spitting it out for all these different people. But if instead they had become, and still can do that, become that educator of that specific niche that's going to teach people how to do something based on their experiences and based on their opinions, it's a whole other ballgame. AI can't do that. That is not what AI is. You will not be replaced if you were able to put in the points in the personal branding that gives people an opportunity to connect and want to buy from you. That is the difference right now. And as upset as many people have gotten over the algorithm changes with Google, they're shouting at you that you need to do this. They're telling you, you can't simply be a machine that just spits out a bunch of recipes or a bunch of all these different things that are going to attract all these different people. We're creating something that does that. You, in turn, have to come in with a personal brand and a voice and be able to educate people and get them to connect with you.
I want to take a short break to talk about something crucial for your business. We all know that the best way to nurture your audience and turn them into loyal customers is through email. But to grow your list, you need an irresistible freebie, something so valuable that people can't wait to give you their email address. So what makes a great freebie, and how do you come up with one? Guess what? I've made it easy for you. With my 3 AI prompts, you can let ChatGPT do the heavy lifting. No more brainstorming or second guessing. Just grab my resource at milotree.com/freebie prompts, and you'll have everything you need to create a freebie that grows your list and builds real relationships. Head to milotree.com/freebie prompts now and start connecting with the people who matter most to your business. Now, back to the show. I think for a lot of people in my audience are women. I think we have a harder time stepping into that role. I think, it's like back in this is what I would say in my experience, and maybe your blog started this way. A lot of people's blogs started as hobbies. Hey, I want to talk about whatever. And then all of a sudden they realized they could make money at this. And they were like, whoa. And then they got smarter and smarter in terms of keywords and things like that. But I don't think they ever started saying, I'm an online entrepreneur. Now, there are those people who like figure this out and say, I am an online entrepreneur, which means I need a niche and I need to become an expert and I need to put my, and those people are like, they know what business building looks like. I feel like your therapists, let's say, don't think of themselves as online entrepreneurs either, because they went down to be like, they became the therapist. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, let's widen your view of what this means. But I feel like people are continuing to get the memo of, you want a successful online business or you want a successful business today. Here are the ingredients you need to create it.
Yes, 100%. My therapists are wanting to become online entrepreneurs because they're tired of being held at a certain income status because they have to trade their time for the therapy room. That's the only way that they can make their money. But if they can come up with the digital products and services that passively happen, of course, I'm saying it with air quotes because we all know it's work that goes into it, but they don't have to trade their time for their money in the therapy room. And what you said about the bloggers who see themselves as online entrepreneurs, those are the clients that I have worked with. We worked through COVID and realizing as a travel blogger, no one is traveling. No one is interested in this content. But instead, she reinvented herself as a travel business, an online site that now can walk you through being able to give you an itinerary for when you want to travel to Ireland, to being able to actually take you to Ireland with her and do mass trips. I mean, her business, and it's Jody Hallstad, who has been blogging forever. You're probably familiar with her. She has Ireland Family Vacations. And I remember coaching her during COVID and my heart breaking for her. But we came up with a plan to say, okay, this isn't going to last forever. And when it's done, you're going to be in the forefront of everyone's mind because you're going to be set up as that business that's going to grow their list, that has one piece of content that you're putting out to consistently engage them, her podcast, which she turns into blog posts, which she then gets them onto her email list. And then she promotes her Ireland book, her Ireland planner, her itineraries, and her in-person travel, actual tours that sell out within the first 24 hours of her offering up a tour because she can only bring so many families. It's the reinventing yourself of stop calling yourself just a blogger and think of yourself as a business owner. Who are you solving a problem for and how are you solving it? And create the products and services that can go along with it. Everything just falls into place when you stop trying to create content for everyone.
I think that is so wise. And I want to say, when you say it like that, it's simple. If you are listening to this and you're struggling with, well, I don't know what problem I am solving, like take a moment and really look at your analytics, look at your top blog posts, look at whatever social media posts you're making, what is doing well. And I'm going to say, you might fight me on this, go that way, start there. Like, I can't tell you how many online entrepreneurs I have talked to who are trying to solve way too many problems for their audience because they don't want to miss out.
Yes.
And
And you
so
have to get clear on that.
clear, like I feel like as we're talking, I'm like, oh my God, you've given me, because this is where I see people struggle.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I actually have a strategic growth plan guide that walks them through figuring out their positioning and their audience and how are you going to make sure that you're the expert slash educator. It walks them through exactly how to get a plan in place to be able to do this, because I watch too many bloggers get frustrated because their affiliate income has gotten hit and their sponsorships they don't want to necessarily do and their ad income. If they had just stopped, run an email list, and talk to their people and use the analytics from their email list to also help them determine what is driving traffic. What are my people clicking on? What are they interested in? My food bloggers who have done really well and have succeeded through everything that we're seeing right now, it's largely because they have a list where they are consistently emailing their people and they're watching to see, okay, these are people who have already raised their hands and said they love me. What do they want more of from me? That's how you figure out your expertise, because they already have you on a pedestal. And if you're just starting out, what do you love to do? What are your people in real life asking you questions about? Ask them, put it on your Facebook. Ask them, hey, what do you see me as an expert in? What could I teach you today? What do you feel like I could teach you? They're going to tell you. People know you for certain things. And that is what you need to line your business mission and positioning towards, so that it becomes that much easier to attract the right people.
I feel like you have really just broken it down. Like, just this conversation has given me so much clarity on like where you're seeing people struggle, I'm seeing people struggle. And it's literally at the first step.
Yes, it's foundationally even as simple as their websites. Do you know how many clients that start with me that were made 500,000 page views, and I go to their website and all I see are random posts? I have no idea how they're growing their email list. I have no idea what they're an educator expert in. They have no way of telling me that they offer books, services, anything. Your website homepage should be set up, one, get people on your dang list. And you better be offering a freebie or an opt-in, and it should be a squeeze page. It should be at the very top before we even below the fold. No one should have to scroll in order to see your opt-in. Then I want you to actually give me navigation to the 3 pieces of your business that are going to give me an idea of what you offer and how you can serve me. So if you give education, one maybe might be your podcast. Maybe you give resources and you have a membership where they can actually work one-on-one with you. Or you have an ebook that's going to be part of a paid product. You have to have 3 pieces of navigation so they know where to go. And those should be landing pages that then describe what it is that you do, to then get into the content. Show me your latest blog post. Show me your latest podcast episodes. Show me that YouTube video that's actually embedded within a blog post. And then give me another opt-in down towards the bottom. So we're squeezing the material together. Your most important thing is to get people on your list. That is the only way you are going to be a viable business going forward.
Right, because your list is your best way to nurture your people and sell to them. I say this all the time. It is not how many followers you have on Instagram. Okay, Jenny,
Yes.
if people want your clarity, because I feel like you as an educator sell clarity.
Yes. And a
Where,
plan, because I'm
and
very step by step and a little bit of a crazy person when it comes to it, because I like to give
okay.
homework.
But again, I think it is you teach people, you lead them down a road to find clarity. And you like clarity, and you teach people how to like it in their own business.
Yes, 100%.
I
Yes.
always am preaching this: less is more. Less is more. And if you're worried about your fonts or your logo, you are in the wrong direction.
Oh, the amount of time that gets wasted on branding, don't get me started. If you go to my homepage, jennymelrose.com, it will strategically walk you through the services that I offer, the things that I can give you. The strategic growth plan is right there at the top. And then down towards the bottom, because I find clients are always very overwhelmed with all the shiny objects, there's a mastering overwhelm guide. That is another opt-in that you can potentially, a guide that you can get to help you kind of look through and figure out the best ways to go forward. And then on that page is also my podcast. There is over 400 episodes. I've been podcasting for 8 years. It's crazy to say out loud, but there is a ton of content with free resources to really be able to educate yourself.
I love that. So that's the place people should go, jennymelrose.com.
Yes, 100%.
Can we make a date for, I don't know, 6 months or a year where we check in again to see if our audiences are starting to understand these pieces, to see where people are? Because I love checking in with you to say, okay, like, where are people struggle? Where are you seeing people struggle? And I feel like we are seeing the same thing. I think building an online business today is easier if you've incorporated this way of thinking. If you've built your business with another model, I think it is more difficult to start to see the world that we're describing. So please, like, sit with this and just ask yourself some simple questions of, what problem can I solve for people that people will pay me for? The end.
100%. And you have to start thinking about, if you have been blogging for a long time and you don't, how can I go back? You just got to foundationally put some things back inside. We got to fix those cracks. Your foundation wasn't built like a business. Your foundation was like a blogger chasing page views. And that's a problem this day and age. So we got to go back and just fix your foundation. Most of the bloggers I work with, from the baby bloggers that are just getting started to foundationally set it up, and then I have bloggers that are veterans that have been blogging for 10, 15 years that are like, I hear you. I see what you're saying. How do I fix this piece of my foundation? And the first places to always look is, are you growing your email list with the right opt-in that is attracting the right people, because you know the problem that you solve.
All right, Jenny. So we have another date, but I just have to say it is really fun seeing you again. And I feel like you and I do see the world from the same lens, and like we're like yelling out these messages. So it's nice to have the two of us.
Yes. And I think that really comes from experience, Jillian, because you have Catch My Party. I had the Melrose family. We've been in it. We've watched ourselves make mistakes. We've learned from it. We've gotten hit with algorithms and platforms disappearing with 660,000 followers on it. It happened. We learned our lesson and we fixed it. And we've been shouting it from the rooftop because we don't want to see other female entrepreneurs make the same mistakes that we made.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I just have to say, Jenny, it has been great to reconnect. And thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I hope you guys like this episode. My biggest takeaway from Jenny is how important it is to stop chasing random page views and start focusing on creating products and services that truly solve your audience's problems. Because it's all about positioning yourself as an expert and building those real human connections. Now, don't forget, our Black Friday sale goes live in just 2 days. If you're a blogger or online entrepreneur, this is your chance to grab MiloTree at an unbelievable price. But it's only going to be available during Black Friday. And here's the best part. If you want a special early bird bonus, make sure to join the waitlist at milotree.com/earlybird. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you're subscribed to the show so you never miss an update. And if you know somebody who could benefit from these insights, please share it with them. Thanks for listening, and I will see you here again next week.